Hello. I guess bear with us as we've not done this before, but we're really excited to join you all today. So thanks for joining in. And we've got heaps of questions here to go through. So we're just going to get stuck into it. I've brought along my friend Pete here. He's my colleague from our studio. And Pete has about 20 years experience as an architect. So he's super experienced. And we work together a lot, so I'm sure we can have a good go at answering as many of your questions as possible. So I think let's just get stuck into it. Pete, do you want to ask me the first question?
Sure. First question is, I guess my question is, where do you start? If you have not renovated before and watching your Instagram clips, there seems to be a lot of things to consider when you start to think about your design layout. So I guess my question is, where do you start?
It's a good question, and something that people ask us a lot. I think for me, the most important thing is to get the master plan right for your property. So I guess it's just important to note that there are so many flow-on effects from every decision that you make in the plan. So it's really important that you look holistically at your property and really establish your vision for that. So I guess I'd be encouraging you to seek sort of assistance from a professional, a design professional, to help you draw that out and test ideas and really find the optimal use of your property.
Okay.
Do you want me to ask you the next? I'll ask you the next one.
Okay.
Okay. I have an 1895 single-storey maisonette in Kensington, SA. I'd like to do a renovation to flip the bathroom laundry, currently located at the rear of the house in the best position, to the centre of the house, and move the kitchen, living, dining to the rear. I don't want to build a second storey. Having lived in the house for nearly 10 years, I have a good idea of the layout I want. My question is, where do I start? So a bit similar to the last one.
Yeah, I think so. So this is a very, very typical situation in, in a lot of the jobs we do, where we have historic homes, terraces, semis, all sorts of homes that have their key utility space blocking access to their garden. And so that's that question. Yeah. I've asked you the question. So yeah. And so, like in answer to the first question, the place you really need to start is with a good master plan. And I think it's not enough to just. I mean, the question shows that the client has the right idea, that they want to sort of fix that problem, but the way to actually fix it in detail is to address it in a master planning exercise, and the devil's in the detail. So I guess we know that the utility space is blocking access to the rear. We know that's bad, but where to put those spaces so that they activate the most of those best places in the home is the real key.
Yeah,
that's where you
the
really
design comes in.
Need like people with the right skills to kind of help you solve that problem.
But I think in general, you've got the right idea, utility at the centre, leading it back. So sounds like you're on the right track there. Do you want to ask me?
Next question. We own a large single-storey, 4-bed, 2-bath brick home that has some foundation issues and requires updated kitchen, bathroom, new windows, ensuite, and some tweaks to the floor plan. Would it make more sense to utilise existing footprint of the house and just renovate or rebuild back of the house and do a second storey? Ideally, we don't want to overcapitalise.
Okay, firstly, I'd say any foundation issues need to be addressed. So obviously, if you're going to renovate a house and it has poor foundations, it's going to be a waste of your money and resources because you'll just be building nice stuff on unstable ground. So you need to take care of that. And whether it makes more sense to go up to a second storey or not, again, probably you'd have to test this in the master planning to see whether you can achieve everything you want to achieve in the single story option, or whether it's better to go up to distribute that area over 2 levels, which has a lot of advantages in some ways. It would potentially preserve you more backyard, potentially give you better access to light and views. So I guess it's something that just needs to be considered, like, yeah, and probably tested in that master plan kind of scenario. Okay, I will ask you the next one. Sorry. We have involved an architect on our home project and have received the floor plans and think they are a little cramped. Disagree with how certain rooms like laundry have been placed in the kitchen, and the design has a lot of stairs. What is the best way to get the best floor plan that is open plan, but have the constraints of the changes in floor levels considered? Do you want to answer that? Or?
Yes. Yes, I think. I think it's really important to be able to have the right forum to discuss these issues with your architect. I think that's a key point. If people come to us all the time and they feel unsure about some aspect of
plans that they may have,
their plan. And so the first thing I'd say is, usually that feeling is correct. And it's important to be able to sort of talk to your architect in the right way.
Definitely.
About sort of your concerns and reservations. And sort of to be able to sit around the table and workshop them.
Definitely. It's a critical part of the process.
So that sort of a really good master plan will only come from often quite a lot of rounds of, it's not a first time final thing. It will come from getting it kind of a bit right and then revising and until it's right. So
I guess I'd just encourage you to meet with your architect and approach it in an open way, and you should expect to workshop these ideas together with your architect. That's what your architect is there for.
And maybe we've got a mantra in our office. I won't say word for word.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, what we say is it's got to be shit before it's good. Which is a kind of it reminds us to kind of embrace the wrong. To say it's not going to be perfect the first time, and if you're expecting this is like with anything to be perfect the first time, then you'll
never get it right.
You'll never get it right. Let it be wrong, and then just work at fixing it. That's, I think, the way to get to a perfect plan.
Yeah, don't be too freaked out by it. Just okay.
What is the process when deciding to renovate your home? Internal changes. Do you first use a draftsperson or an architect? I've also heard you find a builder first and then you liaise with an architect they recommend.
You're giving me this question?
It feels familiar.
Well, I'm biased, obviously, but I would go to an architect first, definitely. The issue is that we meet a lot of people who've been to a draftsperson first, potentially, or a builder, and then they come to us because they essentially haven't done the design. The draftsperson is a professional that is trained to produce technical documentation. They're not experienced or trained to do design. So usually what I would say would be ideal is if you start with an architect to get your master plan right, and then you can test that. You can have potentially a draftsperson draw up technical documentation if that's what you want to do. You can also test the design with a builder to talk about buildability issues, to talk about costs. But it's my strong belief that you need to first ascertain what it is you want from your property, and that's an exercise that is design. So you should be going to a person who you really think has the capability to design you a highly functional and well thought out, beautiful home. So in my opinion, that's an architect. Or what, yeah, do you have an opinion on this?
I mean, just the second part of the question about finding a builder first.
Yeah.
I don't have such a problem with. Like,
All right.
I think, you know, I mean, I think it doesn't matter so much if the builder is first or second, but I think
But
you
they're not
shouldn't,
going to be able to
you
comment
shouldn't,
on a design because there is none.
but I think it was saying, the question was asking if you should use like an architect or a draftsperson the builder recommends. I think that is.
Oh, I mean, that's fine if the builder happens to recommend an architect, but sometimes the architect can be sort of not really an architect under the builder.
I know, but I think what I'd say there is it's probably you should go to a builder that gives you confidence that you like the work you've done, but don't go to an architect that you feel comfortable with.
100%.
Not because the builder
recommends it. It should be who you can talk to and workshop things with. Yeah, that's really important, actually. Okay, so for the next section, we've tried to put together the questions that were submitted before the live. We've tried to put them together into kind of areas. So the next section we've got is bathrooms. So we just tried to organise them a little bit into areas. So, okay, here we go. Do you want to, okay, I'll ask you this one.
Okay.
Yeah. With a small bathroom, what are the important do's and don'ts?
With a small bathroom, it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
I think the mistake, the mistake that people make with a small bathroom is that they might have like a vision of, like, they might be saying, I want this type of bathroom that they saw in a magazine, but they don't have enough space. If you're limited in space, there's sort of a number of configurations that typically work best, and the best thing you can do for the bathroom is be really efficient so your small bathroom feels as spacious as possible.
And generous. So don't stuff too much in. Potentially use the same wall and floor tile.
Yeah, that's good.
And probably don't have a bath. I know that's contentious.
Yeah.
But it's just a thing of don't stuff it full with too much stuff.
Yes. There's the vanities are also an issue sometimes. Like, you know, sometimes it's best in a very small bathroom to go for a wall hung basin.
Simple, streamlined.
Yeah, because
off the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to give on to me?
Bathroom renovation. My white tiles, cabinetry, paint are cool tone, but my vanity top is warm by comparison and looks almost pink. How do I fix this? I still haven't fully locked in my tapware, so I can choose the color tone here.
Oh, I'd replace the top. Can I say that? I just don't think it's acceptable to have a clashing colour tone between your vanity top and the rest of your bathroom. It's really important to, I guess, usually your vanity top too is an opportunity to do something a little bit special and beautiful, and you certainly wouldn't want to be feeling annoyed by it every time you looked at it. Anyway, so I'd probably say you've got to change one thing, and if it's the smallest thing to change would be the vanity top. Then tapware, I guess if everything's cool, I'd probably go stainless steel.
What would you use for the top, do you think, if it's cool?
I'd probably still use a type of marble, but maybe one of the quartzites or a Carrara is beautiful. Yeah.
Carrara's
not too pricey. Or a quartzite or dolomite. Some of those are in the silvery tones, so some sort of stone. I guess the other option, you can introduce timber with cool palettes as well, but I wouldn't have it as a vanity top. It'd be too wet.
What about the fixtures?
As in?
Or what finish do you think?
I said stainless steel. Yeah. Chrome, stainless steel. Okay, this is, I'm thinking there's a typo here, but I think it says we are installing stainless steel tapware that has a plate backing instead of an individual spout and tap. Do I centre the plate in the middle of the basin, or do I centre the spout in the middle of the basin? Definitely the spout in the middle of the basin. If I centre the spout at the plate will look offset from the basin. Yeah, you have to have the spout in the middle of the basin. Do you agree?
Yeah,
It would be very odd to have the spout off centre in the basin.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like, I think
Yeah.
we've
this
struggled with this one before,
Yeah.
but ultimately, we've gone for like spout in the middle.
Yeah, I think it would just be too good to do otherwise. Okay, I'm in a patio terrace with one bathroom and one powder room. The bathroom has a shower but is too small for a separate bath. Should I put in a bath with a shower above it, since I like baths? This one's for you.
We don't typically like to use the shower over the bath situation.
It's dangerous.
There's been
Accidents.
It can be really easy to slip in a bath in that situation and hurt yourself. And
also the generosity of the bathroom is never achieved quite so well.
Yeah,
probably
you end up having a compromised bath and shower.
Probably.
Like
I get it. I like baths too.
But we usually encourage people in this situation to choose. Say, do
a really good shower.
Yeah.
With several nozzles and steam and stuff. That's probably what I go for.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. You asked me this one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Fluted glass, yes or no in showers? Also, what's your take on composite decking? Thanks.
Fluted glass, definitely in showers. They're fantastic because they just make it look really elegant. You can't see the watermarks or the fingerprints or anything on it. It's really a lovely finish, and it offers a sort of a small amount of privacy between the shower area of the bathroom and the rest of the bathroom, which I find really useful. Composite decking, I don't have any personal experience with it because I hate the way it looks. Do you have any experience with it?
I understand the appeal with, I guess, in terms of maintenance and longevity, but I don't really like it. I just think it's a bit fake looking, and so it's not my preference. I prefer a beautiful natural timber.
Yeah. Or stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Baths. If you have to pick the location of the bath, kids' bathroom or master suite, which one will provide a better value for the house?
I think it depends where you've got the most space. But normally when I'm looking at an overall plan for a home, I would expect that the main family bathroom is bigger than the ensuite on balance.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say in the main the main family bathroom is where I'd probably put the bath. But sometimes there's other limitations, like there's just not enough space, for example, in one place or the other.
And I think it
Let's have one bath.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the way you like to live as well. Like, I think one thing that comes up a lot in our meetings is the bath thing, where people are not particularly interested in having a bath themselves, but they want
it's for the kids.
Well, they want to put one in for resale for the time that they sell the home.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. Like if you don't want a bath, then you don't have to have a bath, or if you really love having a bath, then it's probably best to put it in your master suite.
Yeah, have it there where you can
time.
luxuriate in the bath and enjoy it. Yeah. I think that's a great point. Okay, so the next section is about floor plans. So we've got lots of questions about floor plans. And I guess we'll just try and answer them in principle, because obviously we're not going to be drawing today.
I'll read this one.
Okay.
What are your tips for optimal layout when considering renovating a house with garage accessed from a rear laneway? At the moment, we have a house with a garage out the back, but it seems a shame to lose the north-facing backyard space to connect the garage to the rest of the house.
I guess I wouldn't necessarily at all want to connect the garage to the house if that's what is being asked here.
Sounds like it.
I think that's not what's being asked. So yeah, I wouldn't try and connect the garage and the house, because I agree with you, it would compromise the potential living areas that would flow easily out onto the garden and benefit from that beautiful northern aspect. So yeah, I guess also you've just got to consider when one of your main entry points is at the rear, you also have to consider a little bit you also have to consider that as a major access point and provide support for your entry in that location. So like thinking about dump zones and so forth. Maybe you could enter at the side, for example, and then support it really well.
Yeah, we have.
That can be a great scenario.
Yeah, I think this is a great scenario that we have in a lot of our houses. I guess it's often the case with terraces, townhouses, that you enter from the rear, and I think it's lovely the way there's an opportunity there to enter from the rear onto a lovely courtyard.
Lovely.
And the conversation.
Sequence.
Yeah, and like Georgie says, often that becomes the primary access for people.
Yeah, so, for the family, definitely.
Embrace the courtyard.
Embrace it. Okay, in a 5 metre wide end of row terrace, windows along the whole side and using the width of the block north of the rear, is it preferable to have the kitchen and dining area at the rear and spilling onto an alfresco area, or move the kitchen and dining area deeper into the structure just after the bathroom laundry and have the living area opening to alfresco? That's easy.
Yes, we have this conversation all the time, and we prefer to bring the kitchen into the centre of the home, which leaves the main living and dining space to the rear, flowing onto the courtyard garden space. I guess the other thing, which the next question after that is often, where do you put your alfresco space? So
it's only 5 metres wide, so it's probably going to be like, but true.
I guess what we try to avoid is having sort of the alfresco area directly outside the living areas. So you might want to consider having it at the back of the courtyard or the side. So
should we maybe send the group the plan of Oak Road? Would that be okay? You can just forward it. It just shows a case like this very well. 5 metre wide terrace scenario.
Okay, I'll read this one.
This is hard to explain without a drawing, but go on. I could maybe send a drawing.
I have an almost square space, tricky, 4.5 by 3.5, in which to fit a walk-in robe and ensuite. The current layout is terrible, but I'm racked for ideas on how to improve and fit everything. Do you have any tips on working with square spaces for this kind of thing? The kicker is I can only have one doorway to this area as well. Taking away the walk-in...
Oh, is that... Oh yeah, it's part of the
taking away the walk-in robe in exchange for cupboards is also not really possible, as I'll end up with less storage space than what I've already got. Also, my house has too many windows. Red flag, I know. It's like you know us.
I sort of think, look, I mean, if you've got typically walk-in robe and bathroom can fit into square configurations.
Yes.
You know, like you have a bathroom that's probably on the narrower side, like say 1.5 minimum, and then you just line up the shower, toilet, basin along that length.
Yeah.
And then beside it, in parallel, you have the walk-in wardrobe. That's probably the slimmest configuration you get.
So you'd have
How
You'd
much
have
is that?
you'd have
1.5.
bedroom, walk-in robe,
Yeah.
minimum like 1.5, which would be a one-sided.
Yeah, be one-sided 1.5, and then 1.5. So you could go a bit more on the road.
You could do a two-sided.
Yeah, two-sided, which should be good, and then you have the bathroom at the back.
Yeah.
So, and it's best that you only have one entry point into this utility zone. I guess also there's a few nuances there, like sometimes we line up joinery along the corridor into that space as well, which probably you have space for given the dimensions you're talking, which adds a lot to the utility when you use that length to put cabinetry along. It's a little bit hard to explain without a diagram. Maybe next time we do the live, I'll have the capacity to. I just want to draw it, but hopefully that gives you some idea.
I guess I feel like there's something that's not quite right in here as well.
Yeah.
In that typically, like cabinetry, when designed properly, not in a walk-in robe configuration,
is
much
more
efficient than a walk-in robe. So I would. I'd probably
I suspect there's a better answer.
I'd want to consider the two options where you showed the walk-in robe space and then
maximum cabinetry space. Yeah,
cabinetry space.
Definitely.
Because I think you might find that
you can have
for
really
the same
bathroom.
for the same like linear meters of wardrobe, you could have a bigger bathroom or bigger bedroom. And
much nicer
space.
I suspect that would be possible. Yeah. And I guess it's just interesting because we always say that when you start looking at just one area of your home, pretty much always, you've got to look outside that focus area to really test the flow-on effects and possibly to see a much better solution. So I guess I'd encourage you to just zoom out a little bit, look at the holistic solution of at least the bedroom and the utility zones. But yeah, hopefully that's a bit helpful. So in a 2-story plan, we want the main bedroom to be upstairs at the end of the house with the best views. It's overlooking a forest and river. Seems like it would be a shame to not install large windows, but is that necessarily true? It's not ideal for sleep. Would it be a waste to locate the master bedroom there, considering the little amount of time we spend there awake during the day? What would be a good use of that space? Home gym, family room? People like this question.
No, that's good. I think sounds like an ideal place for a master bedroom to me.
I agree.
And I think in a master bedroom, like as big a windows as possible is good.
I guess the only proviso, are you going to say what I think?
Yeah.
Is this, the only proviso is if you're dealing with a window that's shaped like this. So if you have a pitched gable end to your roof at the top, I'd be pretty careful in a bedroom of having triangular type of windows because they can be very difficult to treat.
Yeah,
because
my proviso was going to be that you just want to have control over the environment. So put the big windows in, but design for being able to completely shut them down. With our preference is like a combination of motorized external louvers, which can completely come down and close, so you can make it dark, which is how I like to sleep, and go completely up so you can enjoy the view, and then and angle everything in between.
And also internal treatments to soften the
dark
window syndrome.
Yeah, like a sheer linen curtain is often really nice when looking outside in and from looking
inside out. But don't have a family room or a home gym upstairs in a room that's not an upside down house. So like if all your bedrooms are upstairs, I think go with that. It's a superb consolidation of functional zones.
Okay,
Alright.
you'll go.
Alright.
Given our house will be pretty direct north-facing frontage with a south-facing backyard and a double story, is it realistically possible to design the layout so we still get good natural light in the backyard and living areas? Or will the second level inevitably block too much sun? In other words, can design mitigate the orientation challenge effectively? Or would a different lot be the only way to achieve consistent sunlight in the backyard? It's a huge investment and I don't want to make the wrong choice long term.
I'm a big believer that you can make the most of, like good design can make the most of any orientation. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like what, I mean, you're in the design of the volume of the house,
Yeah.
so the shape of the house to the rear could, like the upper level could step forward in the plan such that you can maximize the amount of sunlight into your rear yard, if that's what you're really looking for.
Yeah.
You can also
there's good things about the southern orientation. Like
Yeah.
it's not always necessary to, have northern orientation. Like southern can be lovely too, and
Yeah.
cool and even light. Also, you have the front portion of your house which you can take advantage of on both levels. So
yeah,
I do really believe though that in essence, good design can make the most of any orientation. It's really about where you want to live.
yeah. If you love the site,
If you love the site, you love the
work.
spot. Yeah. Oh dear. What are your thoughts on having a bedroom with the door directly off the kitchen?
It's not ideal.
I can't believe you're not a bit more like, I'd say absolutely not.
Well,
Absolutely not.
I guess it's ended up, like we would never like design from scratch for this situation, but we have had situations where we've been working within the constraints of an existing building where
it's been presented to us.
Yeah.
But we always found a better way.
So ideally you want to keep your kitchen away from certain.
Honestly, like unless this is some sort of inherited disaster, I would say there is always a better way. You've probably got the wrong design if that's happening.
Yeah.
I can think of one case where we faced that recently.
Where?
But it was very much it was in an apartment and it was like that. And we came up with a better solution. It was tricky, but we did come up with a better solution. I don't know. I'd say there's something wrong with that design, if that's the situation. This is interesting. Should I ask you? Have limited space for a kitchen, dining and lounge area and need to choose between option 1, a small kitchen island, 1800 by 1200, plus medium dining table, 1800 by 900. Option 2, large kitchen island, 3300 by 1100, and small dining table for 4. The space connects to an alfresco with a large dining table for 10 for family gatherings. From a design and usability perspective, which option would you recommend?
Okay.
Neither.
No, of those options,
Yeah.
I guess I would go for the small island and medium dining table because I believe in balance to your key areas. So I don't really like it. Like I think if you've got a small space, it doesn't make sense to have a huge kitchen island in it. And
With
then
no dining table.
Much.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, I agree with you on that in that way, but
the other.
There's something a bit sort of.
Well.
I'd wonder about the orientation.
Well, yeah, so there's maybe it could be, well, I'm sure it could be improved. There's a couple of things that would be good to consider here. You've got an 1800 long kitchen island is the sort of minimum we would want to go for. But 1200 deep is quite deep. I think you could potentially bring that down, and that might free up space to have a slightly bigger circulation or table. The other thing you might consider, often in these smaller situations, we look at a banquette seat. Using a banquette seat table situation can free up a surprising amount of room in a plan, which might allow you to have a slightly bigger kitchen.
Yeah, and I just wonder a bit about the orientation too, because if you're fitting an island and a table, if you turn it around, like you might just try an option where you turn it 90 degrees to see if you have more space, because it seems like you have quite a lot of space in one direction. Anyway, maybe that's helpful, but again, it might have been good to be able to draw. Anyway, I don't have to do that yet. I think this is for you.
Okay.
I have a wall 4 to 60 millimeters wide and plan to fit an SCR fireplace to the left and a 75-inch TV central on the remaining wall. How much space should I allocate to the heater? I mean, I think you probably just want to draw it, right?
Yes. You'd have to draw it out. I mean,
in elevation.
In elevation. Usually, like depending on the fireplace model you go for, the size of the firebox is usually quite restrictive. It will pretty much determine the minimum amount of size you can use. They're usually, and often they're surprisingly high, so you might be often limited to making the sill of the fireplace 900 or more, and then you would want to balance the width with that. Like you don't want to make it look too skinny or tall. And just how you want to treat that entire design of the elevation. So it's like a composition, and I'd really just suggest you draw it out and look at it and see what looks right. I guess the comment I'd say in regards to the TV is don't put it too high. Sometimes there's people are tempted to put the TV up in line with the sill, which will be too high. It's better to have the bottom of a 75-inch TV like about 800.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll read this one. We're a family of 3 living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, mid-century townhouse that can't be extended upwards. What creative yet practical design strategies could make the most of our existing footprint, improve functionality, and ensure the home remains comfortable and adaptable for our future lifestyle?
Well, I guess just in principle, I guess it's all about efficiency with homes like this. So I'd probably start by just looking at the whole floor plan and looking for opportunities to liberate space. Would you say? Like get the utility really efficient, make sure things are in the right spot.
I mean, probably, like the question says you can't extend upwards, so potentially you could extend.
Maybe you could extend backwards
to the back. So I guess doing a master planning exercise to solve for an additional room, if that's sort of possible as the family of 3, it would, I guess you'd be looking to.
Really good.
It would be worth, in most instances, it'd be worth the investment to get an extra room. To just improve, to get a bit more space for everyone. But I guess in that, you have to be very careful not to cannibalize too much living space. So it's no good having like we see quite a lot of lots of bedrooms and no living space.
The balance has to be right. So again, it's a real case. It's especially important in smaller homes. you really, really have to get the master plan right and be super efficient about it. There's not really an option to just be frittering away space. But love small homes, they can be super effective when they're done well. Okay, so here we have some questions about the kitchen. This should be good. Okay, appliances in the kitchen. Where would you put the appliances? On a tall cabinet or bench in the pantry? Do you have examples or show this in your kitchen masterclass?
Ideally, like in a perfect in a perfect world, you've got a giant kitchen and a butler's pantry, and you can have your appliances in an area in the butler's pantry that's tucked neatly out of view. But this is often not the case. That's, I guess, when you have when we're designing a very generous kitchen, that's what we'd like to go for. We'd have a beautiful show kitchen, and then an area which is a butler's pantry, whatever, where you can sort of hide a bit more stuff. And I guess then as the kitchen scale down, you know, if you don't have the butler's pantry, we might look for a appliance garage, essentially. So a bit of tall utility with pocket doors that you can sort of easily tuck your appliances away into.
Yeah, that's an excellent solution.
And then if you have a kitchen like mine, you have to be just very, very selective with the real estate that you allocate. So I've really only got a small spot where I put my coffee machine, which is the thing that gets the most use, and the other appliances have to sit in a large drawer until it's their time to come out.
Be used. And we do have a bit of talk about that in the masterclass, I guess.
Oh yeah.
We do talk about placement of appliances and things like that.
Yeah. We talk about each of those models of kitchens, the small, medium, large kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Should I read this?
I think I'll read this one. I agree with your thought of no sinks on kitchen island. However, if my island is 3 meters long, is it okay to put it on the island? And if so, on what side? My only other option is on a bench facing the wall. I have a duplex and kitchen is on the inner wall of the duplex, so no windows.
Is that so terrible though?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's terrible. Like, look, normally, I would say, please don't put your sink in your island, because it really limits the functionality of the island. So the perfect place, in my opinion, to put the sink is as part of that work zone along the back of the kitchen. So look, in some people's cases, they're fortunate enough to have windows on every side, and that's lovely if you do happen to have a window on that back side as well, or on the side. But I don't think it's really terrible at all to have your sink on the back wall of your kitchen. Like, it's a very functional place. You can have your whole clean-up zone with your dishwasher and your bins in that lovely golden triangle at the back, and it's proximate also to your cooking top, which would also form part of that work zone at the rear. So I actually think that's a great solution, and I don't think it's terrible at all. Okay, we live in a 100-year-old terrace in Melbourne's inner south. We eat dinner on the couch most nights, as our kitchen is crammed with a small island with less than ideal space between the wall appliances and the island, and the kitchen table set flush up against the opposite wall with no room for a banquet seating kitchen table. Should we remodel the kitchen only including a large island that doubles as a kitchen table, or continue with the current layout? I'm worried the lack of room for a kitchen table will hinder a future sale. I think the layouts, they need to look more holistically. That's not
kitchen to only include.
like, would you only have a kitchen island and no dining table?
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong.
I wouldn't. I think this sort of comes up sometimes as well.
A lot of terraces are challenging.
I think you need, like, I mean, if a person was going to buy a house, I imagine they want to be able to see how they live in the house and therefore like sit around the table.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to have a big kitchen, but not at the expense of a dining
area.
So I think I'm sure there'd be a way to solve for both, but it would probably just require really analysing the plan in further detail.
I think I probably wouldn't have an island actually, but there's apartments and terraces where people have a simple one-sided kitchen and then a dining table.
Yeah.
If it's really small. But I suspect there's probably a better answer that would be possible to discover if you looked at your whole terrace house plan a little bit more holistically.
This is a new one. How much weight do you put on the kitchen triangle? Our fridge and sink are quite far away from each other with the cooktop in between.
Honestly, I think this is the most outdated, stupid concept. I mean, can I say that? I think it's really an outdated kind of 50s concept when kitchens were designed very differently and certainly not in an open plan sort of context. So I prefer to think of it in terms of functional zones, and in my mind those functional zones are your tall utility, your work zone, your clean-up zone and your prep zone. And if you configure those zones well in relation to each other, you'll have a superbly functioning kitchen that would do for any commercial premises as well. So I often say that the way I prefer to think of the kitchen triangle these days is actually in terms of the clean-up zone, where you have the sink in the centre. You have the sink in the centre, the bins to one side and the dishwashing to one side. So that's what I refer to as the kitchen triangle these days.
The modern triangle.
The modern triangle. Okay, so trying to follow your advice and keep the sink and cooktop off the island, but I'm not sure if there's enough space along the back wall. What is the best spacing between the sink and the cooktop and from each end of the bench top? I think we've got this in our masterclass, like dimensions.
Yes. I think roughly the minimum.
You don't have to come too far off the ends.
No, you can come quite close with the sink and the cooktop to the ends. I'd say like 250, 300.
Yeah, I think so, because that will consolidate maximum space in the centre.
Yeah.
For bench and prep space.
So then that should hopefully leave a minimum of 900
between the two.
Two, something like that.
But especially when you're dealing with not a lot of length, it's best not to sort of split that bench space up too much. So I guess try and put it minimum dimensions from the end of the bench and then maximise your space between the cooktop and the sink as a general principle.
I think if you play those out, you'd be looking for about 2.4 metres.
I think that's the minimum that we always say, like in our master classes and things, we say I think the minimum bench is about 2.2 to 2.4.
Yeah.
So something like that. Yeah.
Is 1550 too far from the island bench top to the kitchen cabinetry? How far should lounge chairs be from kitchen island seating in an open plan arrangement?
Oh, okay. I do think 1550 is a bit too far, honestly. In some of our biggest kitchens, it's 1400. So I find when you go a little bit too far, it's just kind of wasteful. And you could probably put the space to better use on the other side of the island. for example, like, because that tends to be a point where people gather and so
Like,
forth.
1,500 is a good size on the other side.
Definitely, yeah.
Between the island and the back of your lounge there,
So
which
is what you're asking here as well. So definitely, if I had excess space, I'd tighten up on the side behind the kitchen island, and then I'd give a bit more space. So it's between 1,500 and 2 meters between the island to the back of the couch.
And the minimum we do from island to the work surface is 900.
Yeah.
So I guess 1,200 is nice.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that the bench itself doesn't have to be super fat. I think if it's a huge kitchen, 1,200 can be nice.
Yeah, but if it's not so big, 900 is fine.
Yeah.
800 starts to get skinny.
Yeah, it looks like a surfboard. Okay, we have a kitchen with many cupboards, but no formal pantry space. Do you have any suggestions on how to store food conveniently? Yeah, I do actually. Do you want me to answer this one?
Yeah, thank you, that would be good.
Yeah, so look, I think it probably would be well worth just tweaking your cabinetry in one place for a pantry. So I think the way I do it at my place, and this has worked super well, and I don't have much space because I live in a terrace, is to basically put within your cabinet some slide out sort of shallow drawers, put at an appropriate height from each other, and then we decant the food into like jars that are a certain height. So that way we're able to fit a lot of stuff, a lot of food into a very, like what's actually a very narrow space of pantry. And I think that's probably the most efficient way I've seen to store food. And also it's very good because it keeps it very fresh. All right, I'll give you another one now. We have a lovely big room at the back of our house that currently houses a tiny kitchen and a 4 by 8 foot dining table. It has south mostly, as well as east and west exposure. It's probably in the other side of the world toss.
Okay.
It has the most beautiful view of a river and bay and shipping channel. Should this stay as a kitchen dining combo or be converted into the living area with the kitchen elsewhere?
It does sound like it would be suited to a lovely living dining
Definitely
area.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that you've mentioned, it's a tiny kitchen and lovely large dining, so it probably would be the right amount of space for a lovely living room.
Yeah.
And then we always say try to put the kitchen not in the best part of the home. So somewhere that has a bit more wall space, that's maybe not so naturally advantaged, so that you could potentially provide yourself with like a really serviceable, functional, like highly functional kitchen, which is that hardcore utility zone where the kitchen needs.
And then I guess the tricky thing will be then locating the kitchen in another place that serves that area well.
Yes, exactly. So again, you've got to be zooming out and really looking at your plan holistically to test that idea. Would you avoid the dreaded corner cupboard at all costs?
I do avoid the corner cupboard.
You try very hard.
They
do happen sometimes.
I know. I've got one in my house. I've inherited it.
Yeah.
I guess they do happen, and they can be dealt with effectively, like in our recent Rose Bay house.
That's not bad.
So I think it happens. I think you just have to think very carefully about how you're going to use that space well. So, having in that Rose Bay house, we've got an appliance cupboard.
And I think if you're doing a design and you're seeing heavy reliance on corner cupboards, there's probably something wrong. So Yeah, I would try very hard to avoid it.
I mean,
But if it can't be avoided, there are ways to keep it simple, I think.
I mean, what's nice is if you can have a corner without the cupboard, so you've got like a bench space that's returning a bit. Those spaces can be super useful.
Yeah.
And it's usually, I think it usually can be avoided. So
yeah, usually. So, but if so, keep it simple, basically. So, yeah. I don't go in for all those complicated, tricky inventions. Keep it simple.
mini garage door.
Okay, this is an inflammatory question.
Okay.
I might have to ask you this question.
Okay.
Or would you have the same answer?
Oh, okay. No, you should answer it. What is a good size for an island with a hob?
I think it's an inflammatory question. I think it might be a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, just don't do that.
Are we talking
Is
about?
there any situation where you'd say that's okay?
Are we
If
talking
it's a
about
restaurant?
the hob with the stepper?
No, it's a
A
cooking
cooker.
hob.
Okay.
I'd say the only time that is okay is if it's a professional restaurant where cooking is part of the show.
Yeah. And
Can you think of another situation?
no, I think the
Like
I think
a cooking show?
well, I mean, as problematic as the actual cooking hob in the island is, then there's the range hood.
I know.
So which
Like it's bad news in so many ways.
so we
And not safe and
I feel like we see a lot that there are these tricky solutions to the problem of how you do that, like you're doing the drafting the range hood into the island and everything, when really it's just not a good idea to put the cooktop in the island.
Unless you have a cooking show.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Next section is materials. Okay, so I live in Sydney and have 2 west-facing bedroom windows. I already have indoor window coverings. Well, this is a good one. But would like to shield from the harsh summer sun on the outside of the windows also. You're very wise. Do you have recommendations for outside awnings or window coverings, materials, designs that don't look like I'm stuck in the 70s? That is, awning type or other outdoor coverings that protect from the sun and look good and have great curb appeal for the front of a double-storey house. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good one. That's like sounds like it came from someone in the office.
I know.
So
this person's very wise.
Motorized external louvers are the right solution for this situation. It's like a Venetian blind that comes down on cables on the outside of your window, and typically they come in aluminium louvers in whichever colour you want, or cedar. So you can get the natural timber finish or painted timber finish or aluminium finishes, and they're just the best solution in that situation.
Yeah.
They can come fully down, they can then fully close, or they can go anywhere in between. So you can actually.
What are some brands you'd recommend just to?
The one thing I want to say is it's like that ability to control.
Yes.
Is like nothing else gives you that capacity.
No awning, no nothing will give you that. And I guess you're absolutely right though, like you've nailed it, because what a lot of people don't understand is this need to protect the glass from the sun. So once the sun hits the glass, the heat is already in your home, like the battle is done. You've lost, you're battling heat then. But if you can prevent the sunlight from hitting the glass, then you've got a good chance of having a more efficient, cool home, which is just super relevant for Australia.
Should I say who we use?
Sorry?
Should I say who we use?
Yeah, may as well, just so you can look it up and see what we mean.
We're in Sydney as well, and we use Seaforth louvers.
Seaforth blinds.
Seaforth blinds.
Vental, or generally white.
Yeah.
But look it up online. Seaforth blinds.
Seaforth, they're great.
Okay, great. And they give you that ability to have the view as well, which is every time I go out on the harbour, I'm just crying because everyone has their curtains closed and they've got no external sun protection on the windows. So, crazy. Okay.
I'm in the process of doing a knockdown rebuild. Just wondering if you have any advice, given a constrained budget, where would you allocate more? Facade, lighting versus internals and joinery? Thanks.
It's been an interesting debate, but I would say like the first thing absolutely is you've got to make sure that your building, like the shell of your building, is high quality and does its job, i.e. keeps the weather out.
Doesn't leak.
And doesn't leak, which is no small thing, right? So there's no way I'd be spending anything internally until I had confidence that that was the case. That's probably the first part.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, yeah, and because if you don't say, I guess the one that comes up all the time is that, like if a place is leaking and you put all this new joinery inside it, then the new joinery will be destroyed. So,
and also, I guess lighting. Lighting is amazing in that it really has the capacity to make a place look great or make a place look dreadful. So I wouldn't say you have to spend heaps of money on the lighting to make it really effective, but I would definitely prioritise that in terms of effort.
Yeah. So
yeah, probably that's the best answer. I'm trying to get through some. How does one determine the best material and look for windows and doors? Should we consider the style of the exterior of the home or the interior? Then the colour of the trim for windows and doors. Should we match them to paint colours or contrast them?
So I think when choosing the style, material, look of windows and doors, it's really a very integral part of the design solution.
Inside and outside.
It's quite tricky. So it needs to be considered with all of those factors that you mentioned. So it has to work with the interior. Say if you have some ornate doors and windows, then you probably have to consider it with your skirting and cornicing, not to mention obviously the finishes.
Yeah.
And then that would have to also carry to the outside.
Yeah.
And that's funnily that can be tricky. Like the way that you often might make a decision, like say you go for a black window frame or something because you kind of like the look on the outside, but then
it's going to look awful and heavy inside.
But then you haven't considered the look inside, and you might want everything to be white inside, and then so you might go for a fancy solution of having black and white, which doesn't look very good. I think really it's has to be considered sort of with everything holistically.
It's our favourite word of the day.
If your client has a tight budget and you've got to either prioritise fancy floor to ceiling glass at the expense of cabinetry spec or vice versa, then what's the priority?
I'm assuming fancy floor to ceiling glass means windows. I'll assume that.
Yeah.
Or doors. I would probably prioritise the quality of the windows and doors, because your windows and doors are going to give you, like if you have a high quality of windows and doors, they're really going to affect the performance of the whole building. So I think it's worth considering not just fanciness in terms of the aesthetic, but fanciness in terms of the potentially double glazing or like the performance of the windows, and definitely taking it floor to ceiling, because nothing looks more cheap than having, stumpy openings in a wall. So I'd probably do that, and then probably also I'd just, with an effort to try and improve the quality or keep the quality of the cabinetry high, I would probably reduce the extent of the cabinetry. So just focus on really getting high quality cabinetry in the places where you really need it, and don't go nuts on sort of spraying cabinetry everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, the house we bought, how are we going for time? We've just got a couple more ones right now. Should we just do a couple more?
Yeah.
Okay. The house we bought already has downlights everywhere, but no ceiling or pendant lights. Can you have both without it looking silly, or is there a better option?
Yeah. You can definitely have both. The way we talk about downlights often is the functional lighting of a home. So I guess it's the lighting to ensure that there is enough good light to see everything to work really well. I prefer to include dimmers pretty much everywhere, so you can control the level of lighting and make sure they're good quality.
Yeah.
But then you have free reign because
Covered your technical needs.
To have your feature lighting wherever you want, and you can just go for something that you find really beautiful. Like you might find often that the feature lighting, they're really beautiful, but they don't put out a huge amount of light, which is fine to create the mood. But if you're trying to clean up a spill at 3 a.m. or something, you're probably going to need to turn the
big lights
on.
And also don't forget, wall sconces are a beautiful way to create mood. It's not all happening from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's just another option.
To paint internal window frames or leave them natural?
Okay, look, I want to say I generally am not a huge fan of natural timber window frames internally, but that said, if it's a very old home that has, beautiful timber windows, I definitely would not suggest you paint them. But yeah, if it's a new home, I'd paint them for sure. What would you say?
I agree. Unless you're going for a very strong kind of look, like where there's lots of other timber features and things, which is a whole.
It's just a whole other style. I don't often do that style, to be honest.
Yeah, and what's nice about painted things is when they get damaged, you can paint them again.
Yeah. Can you talk through textured paints? Interested to learn about the quality, durability, and feel of lime wash, mural wash, and sand, Venetian plaster, and get your recommendation of what to use. We've got two good examples of lime wash.
Yeah. Well, I guess the one that stands out to me there is the Venetian plaster, which we absolutely love. It's a great way to lift an area of a home that might, without introducing anything too fussy.
Yeah.
If you might be dealing with quite a white home, like for instance, but you want to make a certain area look special. Like I guess it's really great going up a staircase.
Yeah.
Like for instance.
And it's quite, it is very durable. So it's good in those sort of moments where you might have a staircase or certain parts of the kitchen that it doesn't really mark or grab the fingerprints or anything. It's got a kind of waxy finish, which protects it very well. So it's great for use in those sort of situations. And actually we've done a few experiments also with lime wash. We call it the poor man's polished plaster. I don't know, like it's because it's much cheaper to achieve, but does give an interesting textured effect too. But I guess our preference would always be Venetian plaster.
Do you have a technique for avoiding paralysis by analysis? What gives you clarity to make a final decision and stop an endless loop of revisions? I think we were talking about this. I guess we were talking
about this morning. I guess our approach is we just assume everything is shit to start with, and you need to just put things out there. And then often when you put things out there, you see what's wrong. Like it's clear what's wrong with something because it's drawn out or it's in front of everybody's eyes, and it's much easier to identify what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I think my technique is just assume everything's wrong.
Embrace the wrong.
Embrace the wrong.
Like,
enjoy it. It's fun. Like we have a lot of discussions here about terrible ideas. And,
I think we looked at about
I love
3 terrible looking early stage models yesterday.
Yeah, good, terrible.
Yeah.
So, but from that wrong place, it's sometimes easier to see the right place. And I guess the other thing that you described earlier was, I think, that process of workshopping things is so important. So I guess if you've got someone in your situation that you can workshop things with, I think that's super helpful. I wouldn't want to be just, like, for example, I wouldn't want to be just doing this all on my own and have my own loop of things. That's partly what's so useful about putting things down, and then you can talk about it with other people.
So maybe another important bit, I mean, I'm not sure what the situation is, but if you were an interior designer or an architect, creating a good environment for that is really good, where you can people can put an idea out there that might
safely
is in its very seed-like form, and people can workshop it in a positive way. Like it's not like creating a forum where people are embracing of the wrongness in the right way.
Yeah. I think like we find that in our, when we do our workshops with our clients, it's so interesting that often through that process, we come to the final result much more quickly. Maybe because we're talking about it together in a very real way, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think probably paralysis by analysis is fear. Is fear of getting started in a way.
Fear of getting it wrong.
Fear of getting it wrong. So just accept
just
it will
accept
be wrong.
every shit, and then it's okay. You can make it good. Okay. Okay, so I'm being told here we've gone well over time, and I'm so sorry I haven't been able to get to everyone's question. We will post the whole live on my YouTube channel, and if you've enjoyed this and you want me to do another live, just leave a comment and let me know. But thank you so much for joining, and it's been fun.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye.